Hey guys, how you doing? It's me, your buddy. Some of you are probably wondering, whatever happened to that video I promised in spring? I mean, we're almost to Halloween. It's a bit late, and I apologize. Greatly, profusely apologize. But I have some good news. Very good news. The video's done. I'm just adding some finishing touches to it, but it has a release date, and that is this October 7th, the anniversary of the channel. My final video goes up on October 7th. Mark it on your calendar. It's a done deal.
So in preparation for that video, I thought I would make this little critique, let's just say. I know a lot of you guys were asking if I would try, and I'll admit it, I said no at the time, but I really feel bad that this last Hunters video took so long to make, so I thought I would just do a little review, a little video about trying to give my thoughts on it, because not only do I think that's just a little compensation, but also, I was very surprised by this season. Or movie, or however you choose to define it. I've seen people define it as both a season and a movie, given how the individual movies can be broken up into like episode-sized chunks. Now, I will say, if you're one of the few people who watch my channel who might not have already seen this, I would say, just right out of the bat, I would recommend you watch this movie, or this series of movies, because I will say, just right off the bat, I think it's pretty good. And I will also say that I did not see the dubbed version. I was tempted. I watched the sub version. I wanted to go back and watch the dubbed one to kind of relive some nostalgia, but just a couple of problems. They couldn't get the full voice cast to return, which is kind of understandable, I guess. I do know there's contracting disputes and union disputes and stuff like that. But still, some key people I wanted to hear again just didn't make it. Like, I wanted to hear Kari's voice actress again. TK's too would have been nice because, Kari and TK have been, I guess, the main characters now for, if you want to call this a season, 3 seasons. Yeah, that was kind of a bummer. They couldn't get Joe back. And also, from what I watched from the dub, it's just not as campy as I would have liked. I mean, they can't be as serious as the original Japanese, probably for censoring issues or whatever. But I mean, the kind of campiness that you got with the dub is what, for me, saved it at times. Or at least created a sort of unique experience around it. But it seems that this season's trying to play it, kind of serious, but not as serious as the original Japanese, which I think kind of makes it lose out a bit. It doesn't create much of a unique experience. Like, we're not going to hear the Hey Digimon song, which, if they did that, I would have died. So anyway, that's what I'd say is the spoiler-free review of this. It's good, got some good characters, good plot. Don't watch the dub. So, spoilers, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, my name is Plot Summarizing Bot and I am here to talk about Digimon Tree because Cactus Casual is a dumb faggot who screwed up the recording. So now I have to give a super condensed version of it in case you didn't watch this movie and want to know what he is talking about. The story starts with the kids from Adventure being sad about growing apart. Suddenly Digimon start appearing and the heroes are reunited with their friends as well as meeting this new girl named Miko who just came to town. She has her own Digimon named Mikuman and they bond with our heroes, all while dealing with the government and sporadic Digimon attacks. It turns out there is a virus turning Digimon evil and that Mikuman is actually an out-of-control creature destabilizing the 2 worlds. In order to save the digital world from destruction it is rebooted, thus erasing all the memories of the Digimon and returning them to the digital world. The heroes go look for their old friends who don't remember them and it is revealed that one of the government agents is actually working for the villain. But that is actually not really important. The heroes and their Digimon become friends again, but now have to deal with an evil force trying to destroy the humans that is represented by this dark incarnation of Gene. Miko reunites with Mikuman, but Gene flips Mikuman's evil switch and it turns into a super OP killing machine. There is a big fight between Mikuman, King Drassel's forces, aka the guy ordering around Gene and who wants to destroy the humans, Homeostasis's forces, aka the light that possessed Kerry in the original season and wants to stop Drassel, and against the heroes. During the fight Mikuman fuses with Gatomon to become some super-powered creature and Tay falls into a giant pit and is believed to be dead. Mikuman attacks the human world and Tay discovers that the 02 heroes are in stasis. There is also this government agent there, but he's not super important and dies so whatever. Tay returns to the human world to fight Mikuman along with the rest of the heroes but find out the real world is about to be rebooted by homeostasis. Izzy saves the day by hacking reality to defeat Mikuman and return all the Digimon's memories, thus stopping the reboot. With the day saved everyone is alright and King Drassel dies off screen. Hope that helped. Now I must self-destruct.
So, for the sake of this review, I'm going to be classifying this as a movie and comparing this to the other Digimon movies because it carries a lot of the same beats with it, and those beats actually made me think I was going to hate this movie, but it ended up being a very pleasant surprise. In the beginning, there was some sort of warning signs of, ah boy, this is going to be a rough one. Where it seemed like the movie was going to be a sort of like high school drama centered around like Digimon coming back, and I was not really excited about that. Because in the beginning, it's like, oh no, everybody's drifted apart, so many years after their last adventure, they have to go back to school to take tests, and they've just drifted apart until one day Agumon comes back, and then I feel like that's where we're going, and that's where it does go for a little bit. But luckily, that's only sort of kept at the beginning few of the movies, and as time goes on, it progresses, I think, in a somewhat natural way to interdimensional warfare, jumping between the digital world and the human world, crisis on Earth, earthly destruction, all the things you'd probably want to see in an epic Digimon adventure. The other red flag was this OC character. And if you watch my other videos about the movies, you know that I don't care for OC characters. The two best movies that came out of Digimon did not have OC characters. But this one was integrated nicely, I guess. She doesn't take too much attention away from the main cast. She becomes a love interest for Tai, which seems random and out of place. She's not super interesting, but she's not too offensive either. My only complaint is the fact that, her Digimon is way too OP, and at times it felt like the conflicts that were caused by this could have just been caused by one of our two major villains in the story. I mean, King Drazel and Homostasis seem to pretty much be able to do almost anything at times. So just have it that King Drazel wants to destroy the human world and summons monsters or creatures to do that. The kids obviously want to stop that and have Homostasis just kind of like be in the middle. This especially kind of gets like apparent when they have that one big fight between like Hackmon, Alphamon, all the kids, and also Meikumon. And it's just like, I don't care about Meikumon and how it's powered by fear and how they don't know if they should kill it. Of course you kill it. This is stupid. The Earth's blowing up as we speak. Just have Dark Jedi running around and doing stuff in the beginning, and that's what sparks the whole crisis. He's a much more interesting character than nerdy, shy schoolgirl archetyped. Anyway, let's talk about villains just real quick, because there's a couple of them. There's King Drazel, who does not appear. Homostasis, who comes back. Apparently that's what was controlling Kari in the Adventure series, and that was pretty cool to see that brought back. Because at times it feels like this season is specifically like answering some fan gripes that I've seen about like, why did this happen? And why did that? What was this? Well, now stuff that I'm sure you'll tell me was answered in mangas or comics gets answered here on the big screen. We have Dark Jedi, who I still don't fully understand what he's doing or what like he is as a character. I get he's a servant of King Drazel, but I will admit, I have a little bit of dyslexia, so I probably have missed some stuff, so I don't fully understand what his character is, like who he is. He shapeshifts, so he's probably not really a form of Jedi. But still, it was kind of cool to see Jedi back and being a little creepy. And yes, I did squee when he brought Machine Dramon back for this season. He is still the best Digimon. Homostasis and Hackmon claim that they're all about balance, like between the human and digital world, but at times they seem like they just let King Drazel do stuff that directly, causes an imbalance, and then they don't really respond to it that much. But still, it was really kind of cool to see Kari get repossessed and us explain a little bit more about what happened with that, weird moment in adventure. Then we have Maki, aka Waifu. I am claiming her. She is my waifu. She has everything a guy could want. She's got the messy brown hair. She's got the business look. She's got the crazy eyes. She's got the power stance. You know, you could throw a saddle on that and I'd ride it right into the sunset. I'm sorry, that's terrible. But seriously, I think she's a pretty good villain, a good addition to this movie. She provides some interesting backstory to Digimon, being an original Digidestin. She brings back the Dark Ocean, which I did not think they were ever going to mention that again. Her plan is a little confusing. She restarts the digital world to reunite with her Digimon partner, which I believe she knows will cause it to lose its memory. And then she goes crazy when she realizes it doesn't remember her. I didn't really understand what she thought was going to happen there. And then I think she kills it. I think that's implied. I think it's also implied she dies, which is fine. I think she's the first female Digimon human villain to die, actually, on screen. Which, congratulations! We did it, guys. We broke the glass ceiling on people getting murdered in Digimon.
Fuck white people. Fuck Donald Trump.
I do think it is kind of weird that her character sort of like cements the idea that Digimon partners are like drugs, where you just get addicted to having them and will go through ridiculous lengths to get one back. That's all the villains, essentially. So let's talk about the heroes real quick. One of the big issues I have with past movies, even the best ones, is that they don't give a lot of time to all the characters, or at least a decent amount of time to develop all the characters and just focus on like a core few. This would be especially difficult for Adventure, which has a cast of 8 kids. So how does it do? It does all right. It does all right. A lot better than I thought it was going to. It wants to give each kid, just a little chunk of time to develop a bit, give them a mega evolution. And you can tell that some characters, they wanted to get out of the way early so they could just push them into the background later on to focus on other kids. Like Mimi and Joe get a lot of attention early on, and then they just kind of drop right off. I saw on Wikipedia there was some reviewer who apparently didn't like Sora's story about like her struggle to reconnect with Biyomon after the Big Memory reboot, saying it felt forced, but I thought it was set up all right. They had that moment earlier before the reboot, and the whole someone overreacting to seeing their Digimon partner again and smothering them that makes them sort of run away, that's something that is pretty much bound to happen with one of these characters. And it might as well be Sora. Her and I'd say Mimi would be pretty good choices for that arc. No one's character arc really stuck out as awful to me or particularly bad. The only one I had a problem with was probably TK's, but it was nothing really wrong with the arc. I just don't really like TK as a character. His arc made sense, but I just didn't care for him as a character in Adventure, and I didn't really like him that much in O2 either, so I think that's more of my problem. So overall, I think that these movies are actually pretty good. I still have to say, though, that I like Runaway Locomon and Our War Games just a bit better. I think because in both those movies, I kind of like had these sort of like moments where I was like, oh, wow, that was really cool. Or, oh, wow, that hit like, an emotional thing with me. I didn't really feel that in this season. There was a lot of like very cool moments and a lot of very competent moments, but nothing that I would say like stuck out too much. Besides Machine Dramon coming back. There weren't many complaints that I would say like ruined the movie or made me upset, but I will say I have 3 things that did kind of bother me and I want to just address them. The first I'd say is there's always kind of been a risk with a character like Izzy. He's a good character in a lot of ways, but him being like a hacker or a computer nerd in a story that centers around computers always kind of puts him on that dangerous path of being a Deus Ex Machina. And that kind of happens in this movie. The ending just seems too much like Izzy is way too overpowered and just hacking the world to save the day. It's kind of bullcrap. I get it that that's Izzy's thing, but I would have actually maybe preferred a new evolution rather than Izzy hacking the final boss. It just seemed a bit lame, and it would have been kind of cool, like maybe a fusion of all the heroes' mega level evolutions. A lot of people might not have liked that, but I think it would have worked narratively a bit more given the fact that like now all the characters have mega level evolutions and they're all kind of like on some sort of equal plane. Even Seraphimon gets nerfed just so that like all the mega levels are kind of in equal power. And it would have been nice to see them fused together as like, I don't know, symbolic of their friendship, or, you know, them all coming together after being separated. I don't know. The other complaint I'd say is really just the Digimon themselves in this season seem like they don't really have a lot to do. Like, they do some side adventures early on, and then they get their mind erased. But a lot of times they just don't really feel like they fit into this type of movie. Like, there's a number of scenes I can remember where, like, all the kids are sitting down having, like, a very serious conversation. You know, it's either about Digimon invading the human world, the world's ending, being destroyed, and then a Digimon will be like, "Oh, I'm hungry," and then everyone laughs, and that's the end of the scene. It just feels like the movie saying, well, this is a Digimon movie, and the Digimon haven't said anything in a while, so we're just going to make them say something goofy, even if it totally wrecks the tone that the scene is going for. Speaking of tone, maybe this is just because I mostly watched the dubbed versions of Digimon as a kid, but is it just me, or did this movie towards the end start getting like a little bit too sort of dark and weird for the Digimon adventure crew? Like, we've got like a giant, horrific, you know, naked woman with wings raining acid, you know, just screaming. And I know that in the past, the Digimon adventure team has faced some giant monsters, a bit of peril. Diaboromon invaded is a giant, horrific creature. But there's just something, I forgot what it's called in psychology, but there's just something like extra horrific about like just a giant, you know, naked-ish woman with either some sort of deformity or, you know, something that makes her like scary or horrific. I was kind of sitting there thinking, this seems like something that I'd see from a Tamers movie, not really adventure. I always picture adventure a little more happy-go-lucky than this. I'm not saying I was, you know, spooked by it, or, you know, it was too scary for me, too dark. It just kind of like was a bit distracting. But maybe I have a bit of a misconception about the adventure team and what kind of tones should be used in their stories. I mean, you know, Tai is a big boy now. He's all grown up. He's got to move on, you know, have his own big boy adventures. No more fighting evil clowns. You know, now it's giant, pale, horrific women made out of the data and essence of your sister's best friend. So anyway, that's my short Digimon try critique, if you want to call it that. I look forward to releasing my Final Hunters video. I hope you all enjoy it. That will also include links to what will hopefully be the final Google Drive with all the episodes that I've done. If you want to download them for your own personal use, re-upload them somewhere else, I don't know. Do whatever you want. This is absolute freedom. So it doesn't feel appropriate to do a, you know, play me out Mighty Money Boss Tones. Because I've changed, my taste in music has changed, and this wasn't really a full review, so it wouldn't fit with tradition. So how about, I don't know, play me out Blondie.